Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox and a watch unboxing. Today we have a spectacular collection of papers, boxes, and accessories with the Tourbillon watch from Vacheron Constantin. Today we are discussing the Traditionnelle 14-day tourbillon, born in 2012 as the Patrimony Traditionnelle, and in 2013 it became the Excellence Platine variant, which you're going to see today, a full platinum watch with matching clasp, dial, and even platinum-infused thread on its strap. But what do you get with such a grand timepiece, and what comes in the box? Well, we're going to find out now. As you can see, I'm going to give scale. Here's my hand. And here is my watch, so you can see just how big this box really is. It's at the point where I can't quite fit it in the frame. So, starting with an enormous steamer trunk of a box, we'll take a look at the external labeling. You get Richemont labeling on most of these Richemont brand watches. This is the kind of thing you see at distribution points where they figure out what goes where, but I believe the Richemont brands use common shipping hubs. You can see it says the 14-day tourbillon lies inside, and we're going to see that now. Taking a quick look, I should mention all Richemont brand watches do come with an outer sleeve over the box. That is not here, just because I wanted to streamline things and have the Vacheron logo for the start of the video, but there would be a sleeve over all of this. Now, moving inside, you can see things are redoubtable. There is a lot going on here. There's an enormous sheath of styrofoam over a box that has a wonderfully lustrous lacquer on top of a natural wood base, almost like a Zebrano type wood. We'll take a look at what you're getting when you buy a watch of extraordinary size, complexity, and expense. Vacheron, of course, wants you to remember that they are the oldest continuously operating Swiss watch brand, having been established in 1755 and never defunct. So Blancpain might want to brag about 1735, but there was a period during the late 70s, early 80s when Blancpain was not actually making watches. I digress. Let's take a look at what comes inside. Well, there it is, the star of our show, or on a normal day that would be the star of our show. Since today we are talking about boxes and papers, I recommend you check out my separate in-depth review of the 14-day tourbillon, which you will find right here on Watchbox Reviews. We'll do a quick wrist shot and talk about some of the tech and spec of this watch, but we're not going to let it overwhelm proceedings. What do you need to know? Well, the basic model in rose gold was launched in 2012. The timepiece has 4 mainspring barrels and achieves an extraordinary 14-day power reserve. Now, the original was rose gold. All of them in this model line are 42 millimeters in diameter, 50.9 millimeters lug-to-lug, 12.6 millimeters thick, and 22 millimeters between the lugs. What sets this one apart from the standard is that it is Excellence Platine. So what you're getting, we'll get as close as we can here, is a platinum case, a dial, which you can see is also PT950 and beautifully media blasted. Logo, hands, and indices are all white gold, but that's just about it. Some parts of this tourbillon carriage take 11 hours to fabricate. It's a 1-minute tourbillon with an overcoil hairspring. It beats away at a aesthetically pleasing low beat rate. It's not one of those modern high beat movements. On the reverse side, you can see a bridge for 2 sets of stacked barrels. That's how you get the 14-day manual wind power reserve. You can see that it is Poisson de Genève. This was the first model to feature the Geneva Hallmark on both the movement and on the case, as about mid-2012 was the point when this became a full watch standard. You can also see that the interior angles here are outstanding, and there's almost a hand and glove sort of fit between the outline of the lower bridge and the outline of the upper bridge. The bevels are a mile wide, and this is the Vacheron we dream of. You can also see on the front that this tourbillon cage is the Vacheron Maltese Cross logo, and it has many sharp interior but also sharp exterior angles, all of it laborious to create. We have half-frosted Dauphine hands, a 14-day power reserve indicator, and it is simply sublime. A lot of fun to be able to see watches like this on a daily basis where I work. Taking a quick look at the strap, I promised you a platinum thread, and indeed, the contrasting thread here is infused with platinum, and it wouldn't be Excellence Platine if we didn't also have a full platinum clasp. Zoom out for a moment, we'll do a wrist shot so you can get a sense. My wrist is 16 centimeters circumference, Throwing the watch on the wrist, it is quite impressive. I recommend your wrist be at least my size or larger to wear this watch well, but it is thin enough that it'll fit underneath a cuff. Okay, now with a watch like that, you'd assume that the boxed set would be monumental, and you would be right. So getting a little bit closer, once again, we're going to venture inside. There are little switches that unlock this box. Then you can see metal fixtures internally. So it is an impressively built box. Taking a quick look down and a quick look up. The hinges are beautifully finished and polished, almost like the glove box of a Rolls-Royce. Everything inside that looks like it's leather is in fact leather. We'll take a quick look at this forward compartment. The little slot for the watch has a pillow for mounting the watch. And you can see that underneath that we have a couple of other accessories, including a hang tag that includes various information about the watch. It's a swatch of leather, and then we have a lovely little Vacheron provided polishing cloth that can also act as a sleeve in which you can store the watch for safekeeping, and the sleeve has a little piece of Velcro so you can keep the watch locked in place and it won't slide out of that sleeve. Taking a quick look at what sits in the second compartment, this is the money shot. This is where the giant boxed set begins to look genuinely cool. We have a leather pouch, and we'll take a quick look underneath. This watch originally came in a sealed sleeve that was Vacheron branded. So just keep in mind the extended accessory set. I mean, absolutely everything would include this little sleeve that has things like serial references and other points of data that the Vacheron distributors and, of course, Richemont itself can use. You could see that the little hang tag that comes internally gives you a description of what you are getting. And then this box, which we saw a moment ago, let's dig in and see what we get. This is better than Christmas and Hanukkah combined. We get an elaborate Vacheron branded polishing cloth, and it is a wonderful piece. You can see Vacheron branded and bound from the factory. The inside of this leather pouch is handsomely suede. It has lovely buttons that snap with alacrity and reek of quality. We have a little thumb drive, which is a fascinating thing. I opened it up and walked through. It's an introduction to the brand. It talks about things like the Geneva Hallmark, the company's heritage manufacturing standards. There's a special introduction letter from Juan Carlos Torres, who was at the time the Vacheron CEO. All of that, plus the user's manual for the watch, and so that is here as well. It will explain how to use the watch. Fascinating to me was that the thumb drive contains not only the correct model, the 14-day tourbillon, but the graphic representation of the watch was actually the platinum model that came in this box. So hurrah for attention to detail, and you can see the Maltese cross logo on the thumb drive. The thumb drive, of course, comes with yet another little leather swatch that includes more pertinent information. See the little thing that says passport? We're going to find out more about that in just a moment. This right here is an elaborate passport-themed owner's catalog. It is everything you could want to know about the watch. There's a little hang tag that represents the timepiece achieving the Poisson de Genève. And then we have a little Geneva Hallmark certificate that actually comes with some Geneva Hallmark watches. Not all of them. The older Roger Dubuis timepieces generally featured this kind of elaborate documentation, and frankly, I'm glad to have it. There's a lot here. You can dig into it en français, or you can just jump into the thumb drive and it'll give you a rundown in English. There is a guarantee certificate that came with the watch that describes terms of the warranty, and you can see the passport number. The original retailer was Shreve, Crump & Lowe, and this watch was sold the year the edition of 50 pieces were made. I should mention this watch was a limited edition of 50 pieces for the Excellence Platine sub-collection, so that's what the guarantee looks like. There's a little invitation to join the Hour Club, which is sort of a social scene that Vacheron and the brand managers of Vacheron set up. There was a forum called the Hour Lounge at the time, and the Hour Club still exists. They will still call you and hook you up for cocktails and introductions to famous people, authors, artists, athletes, and entertainers, as well as other Vacheron collectors. You can go to thehourclub.com, and with the information contained in this booklet, you can become part of that scene. We also have a rather dramatic passport-like document that has all sorts of Vacheron flair. Our values: maintaining creativity, constantly seeking excellence, a socially aware company. Love to know more about that. Respecting and passing on traditions and sharing our passion. It's about maintaining the patrimony, if you will. Now, again, we have what's sort of like the blank pages of a passport that would normally be stamped, but what we've got is a lot of different international guarantees, basically the same thing in many different languages, and that occupies most of the manual. But we also have entry points for recording the date and the nature of the service performed on the watch. So it's a little bit like the manual for your high performance or luxury car, where the manual includes blank spaces in the back to document the service over the years to maintain the value and good repair of the car. There's also a lot of information about the watch. As you can see, I talked about that aesthetically pleasing slow beat. Well, you can see right here, it is 18,000 vibrations per hour. We have a lot of technical information about the watch, and I like this. I think this is a lot of fun. This adds value for me. It's a great reference if I'm an owner and I want to try to describe my watch to other collectors, but it's also nice to just be able to reference it and know what you paid all that money to own. We have things like serial number, reference number, the nature of the strap itself, and then, of course, we have a picture of the watch, not just the model, but the exact variant. We also have things like serial number. You can see that's what this passport number is. And it is all rather remarkable. There's a little card that tells you where you can service your watch globally. And then there's a fascinating take on the Vacheron logo with a little example of the sort of anti-counterfeiting technology that was applied to the K-Delil. It's a lot, and all of it is so much that, frankly, it's falling off the edge of my light box. There is so much stuff going on here, but then again, you pay the big money for the big watch, you deserve a big boxed set, and this one has a wonderful sense of occasion. Time out, Tim out, and thanks for logging on. One more quick note, I just thought I'd show you the inside of this leather box, which properly speaking is a container for accessories, but it also has a pillow for anchoring your watch, so you can use this leather box as a carrying case for your timepiece if you don't want to wear it out and about during your travels.